Let's stay in the SEC. Missouri and South Carolina. Cole, Lenore Sellers did play in this game. It was closer than maybe we expected until late, but Missouri finds a way to get the win at home. We're already kind of up against the clock, so maybe quick thoughts on this one, and we'll move on.
Without going into too much detail, there's a lot of good that I think you can take away from South Carolina in terms of Lenore Sellers. You have a shot in every single game, over 300 passing yards. Your wide receivers were finally able to start breaking on open. Van Jacobs had a decent day. Brian Rowe found his way into the end zone. Nick Harbor looked like he was efficient enough. But that offensive line is dreadful. It's one of the worst I've seen. The play calling is inept underneath Mike Shula, to say the least. There's not a lot of traction when it comes to the ground game. And it does feel like you are going to have to win simply based off of 16 doing unheralded 16 things. And you can. I'm not ready to rule you entirely out, but also your defense had multiple issues last night of being able to stop the rushing attack, to be able to not bring players down at the line of scrimmage, to create those second chance opportunities into space. And that's something that I think is going to be a major point of unknown for the rest of the year when it comes to South Carolina. They're really hard to pinpoint because of the good for them is so good. It's a roller coaster. The highs are cloud nine, atmospheric, lovely. You don't want to come on down. You know what it's like? Have you ever seen the movie 22 Jump Street where they take Wi-Fi and they're sitting in the trunk and you have Jonah Hillside that is very dark and gloomy and depressing, and you're hearing, "Can you take me higher?" and he's dancing like Charlie Brown. And then you have the other side where Django, Channing Tatum's character, has all the fun drugs and he's messing around with hot chicks and he's sliding down a rainbow. That's South Carolina this season. The highs are so freaking high that you gotta at least believe they stand a shot. The lows are so dark and depressing. 2-10 is probably not going to happen, but if there's no fight with the team, who's to say that it can't? I think at least 4-8 could happen. I think 5-7 absolutely could happen. I think right now you're looking at a 7-5 season and certainly regression, but that's South Carolina. There are things that happen with Mizzou that I just don't think are correctable. Their secondary is their secondary. I think it's just going to be that way for the rest of the season. They allowed far too many explosive plays against young wide receivers that ultimately put them in a position to where they weren't as successful. Again, you give up 300 plus yards passing. Sellers averaged 10.8 yards a throw. He was also they also lost the turnover battle, and they did a good job of putting themselves in a position where they could strike back, but it wasn't anything that we could say right now is that impressive. To me, the selling point is if you don't have Bo Prabula looking like elite Bo Prabula as he did against Kansas and as he did against Louisiana, you have the best running back in college football. Turn to him and let him go boots and boogie. Just do that. I think at this point, we can argue that certainly Jeremiah Love and Nick Singleton deserve their praise for what they have done. But if you're looking at what is going on right now, nobody is better than Ahmad Hardy. Ahmad Hardy is the first running back since 1967 to rush for 100 yards in his first 4 games at Mizzou since that time. 6.3 yards a play. This season, he's averaging almost 7 yards a play. He has 600 rushing yards through 4 games. The next closest running back in the SEC isn't even pushing 400. He's that much further ahead. He creates opportunities past the line of scrimmage. He's physical with the contact. He bounces off of players and gets into the open field and doesn't stop churning his feet. The touchdown inside of the red zone only happened not because of the offensive line that was missing Caden Green last night, but because if you had a running back that refused to quit running. And then you throw in Jamal Roberts as a good secondary element as well. That's another thing that you have to say to yourself is a blessing in disguise. You got to feel exceptional about where this team is when it comes to those things. Because when you have that, you stand a shot. You absolutely have your opportunity to continuously put yourself in a position where you could walk away with the win every single week. Their schedule is manageable, and I think that Mizzou plays with an intensity that is very hard to ignore. I think 10-2 is possible out in Como this year. And 10-2 gets you to the college football playoff. Sometimes you benefit from an easy schedule or a relaxed schedule. They're going to be 5-0 when they face off against Alabama. And then after that game, they get to go play on the road. They will have 6 games to gel as one roster. They already feel like a complete cohesive roster to begin with.
I will give Sleeper a little bit of love. Listen, if you're depositing, use our code CFA, get a 100% match up to $100. We will play the more or less game on Wednesday. where you pick 2 of your favorite picks or more. You can win up to 1,000 times your money. There are some free picks that you can go get right now. Like I think Jared Goff has like 0.5 as an over under for passing yards. So, supposing he doesn't get hurt on the first play of the game, you should be relatively safe there. Bunch of free picks that you can go and stack together. Check Sleeper's terms and conditions because terms of use do apply. We appreciate Sleeper for their support. Tune in on Wednesday live at noon so we can talk about our picks. And again, appreciate Sleeper for all of their support.
South Carolina had no shot in this game without Lenora Sellers. And then I think it's a very plausible question to ask, should Lenora Sellers have played in this game from a health standpoint? Because he just didn't look like himself. Now, when you're running for your life, it's pretty hard to look like yourself. But he didn't seem like Lenora Sellers. And granted, we really don't know what Lenora Sellers 2025 was supposed to be. What he looked like against Virginia Tech left a lot of people wanting. I'll say this about Mizzou. I mean, if you've got Perbula, Hardy, and Johnson as your 2025 answer to Daniel, Temple, and Macklin, it's kind of Budweiser versus Bud Light. I'm not going to compare them, apples to apples, but still, it's an exciting team. But Cole hit it right on the head. I do not love the rest of Mizzou's schedule in that I think you kind of saw, you didn't kind of see it. You did see Bo Perbula play the best competition he's faced thus far. Still give a lot of credit to what South Carolina can put on the field from a defensive standpoint. I think thus far, Mizzou and Perbula have faced some weaker teams. He's been able to stat pad. Nobody's a bigger fan of Bo Perbula than I am, but still, he looked like he came back down to earth, and he's going to have to learn some things. But the rest of their schedule, there's pretty much 3 left that you're looking at of like, oh, they should win these, and that's Arkansas, Mississippi State, and of course UMass. But outside of that, you get to go to Vanderbilt, host Alabama, at Auburn, which I just discussed. Like I could see Auburn, that could be a shootout. You never know. Hosting Texas A&M, I don't wish that on too many people, and then going to the aforementioned Oklahoma Sooners. So best of luck to Mizzou the rest of the way. I'm curious